What's up, everyone? It's Annabelle with That Good Shit, and today I am here with
Kelly Moonstone.
Kelly. Oh my gosh, guys, Kelly was really one of my first friends I made when I moved to New York many years ago.
Dylan introduced us. Shout out to Cinema Sci.
Shout out to Dylan, introduced us, and I immediately was just in love with your energy. I was like, this girl is so sweet.
Oh my god, yes. That's how I felt about you too.
Oh my. I'll cry. And then I remember, like, shortly after I met you, I went to a show you did, and it was in like a really small like apartment, like it was in someone's house.
Probably, yeah. Oh
and
my gosh.
I remember just like seeing you, like you had a loop machine and you were making your music, and I was just like, wow, this woman's voice is so beautiful.
Thank you.
And watching your growth since then has been amazing, and now we're here doing this interview and I'm just so excited. What's even the most beautiful is just seeing the way you treat everyone around you along the way. Like, no matter what success you may reach, what people you're around, who you're collaborating with, like, you are always the most like loving, welcoming person to everyone around you, and you make everyone feel at home.
I feel like in this industry, people tend to be like, people have a tendency to just naturally be two-faced. Sometimes I feel like it's not even like intentional. Everybody just puts on a face because they think that's what people want.
Right.
But I just feel like being yourself takes you so far.
Totally.
And I'm so bad at like faking it. So it's just like, I just can't, I don't have the energy to keep that up. It's just like, I'm going to be me, and whoever receives it, receives it. And if you don't, then,
then fuck off. Like,
exactly.
And who cares? Well, yeah, this is going to be a beautiful conversation, and I'm really excited. I'd love to start from the beginning. Even before you started making music, what's like your first memory of music and your first memory of like being touched by music?
Okay. So I always tell people that I have this core memory. I was in third grade when I went to PS 118 in Queens. And we were doing like show and tell, I think, and I had wrote a poem. I used to like write poems all the time and like upload them to like anonymous poet websites on the internet. And I went in front of my class and I had a poem, and I was like very impulsively just decided to sing the poem instead of read it. And like at the end of it, I remember my class was like staring at me, and I was like, did I do something wrong? And they were like, no, you were really good. And I was like, oh, I can sing.
Yeah.
So that's like my first real memory. And then ever since then, I think like my teacher told my mom, and then I was like in the choir and the kids choir. I was in so many choirs. Like at church, my mom is like super, super Pentecostal Christian, like Jamaican older woman. So it was like church. And I was always participating in like the youth choir. I was never in the adult choir because that wasn't my vibe. But like Catholic school, I went to Catholic school for a few years too, and I was in the choir there. And then I sang a lot in high school. We had like a fashion show, and I used to like sing during the intermission. And then a friend from high school, my friend Adina, shout out to Adina if you're watching this, she brought me to my first studio with, I think his name was Design.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like a studio like in, I forgot what neighborhood it is, but it was off of Farmers Boulevard in Queens. And I used to do like Frank Ocean covers and stuff like down there when it was like right when Channel Orange came out.
Mm-hmm.
I was like 16, and yeah, that's my first like experience in a studio, and I loved it. And I knew that from then I wanted to be in the creative industry, make music, and just do something aligned with music.
100%.
So yeah.
Yeah, and like one of my favorite aspects of your work is your work as a producer. Like, you are incredibly talented as a producer. When did that come into the picture?
So that was probably around, I want to say 2021. I started like dabbling in production. I was living in Harlem, and I was just having trouble like getting beats that I liked, because I feel like, well, back then I used to go by the Aphrodite, for people that didn't know. That was actually before we met too.
Yeah.
So it was a different time for me, and like I feel like people kind of like pigeonholed me into a certain sound, and I wanted to like experiment more, because it was like a lot of dusty boom bap, which I appreciate. That's like my roots. I really love that sound, but like I wanted to experiment more with different instruments and different sounds, and just figure out who I was as an artist without like the help of somebody else.
Yeah.
So I played around a lot on Ableton. I have a friend, Chris, that let me like download his Ableton license, and I also wanted to play around with like royalty free sounds because I wasn't really sure about sampling yet. Like I know how to sample now, but I would say it's probably still not my favorite method of production. But I was playing around a lot on like Splice and the other like royalty free sound libraries, and I just like, it was really arrangement at first in the beginning, and I don't know, it just worked out. I have a lot of songs that I love and cherish that will probably never see the light of day that I worked on during that time in Harlem, and I just kind of honed my craft. And yeah, I love producing my own stuff. I do want to say though that lately I've been more in like a writer's bag. But I love knowing that I have the skill to make my own stuff.
Right.
People always ask me like, oh, send me beats, and I'm just like, maybe when I feel more comfortable. But that's a journey I'm taking, and I'm just excited to like learn more things. I'm always trying to teach myself something new.
Yeah.
But that's like my baby project, on the side thing
Yeah.
that I do.
And
But,
when you're not working on your own production, who are some of your favorite producers to collaborate with?
So there's my good friend 2 and 2, Ryan. I love him. He produced Nana Boo Boo. He also produced Sentient for me and Willie Nova. I actually also have a song that I did with him in Navy Blue. And he's just a lovely, like, his ear for samples is just so insane. I love him so much. Then there's Kaylin Ellis. I love Kaylin. Me and Kaylin have been working on a few things for a while. And who else? Captain Pigment is also awesome. He produced a couple joints on my upcoming project. And there's just so many people, so many talented people that have sent me beats over the course of my life. I can't even sit here and name them all, but
Yeah.
I just love the art of production. I love the producer. With the producer, there is literally no music. You know what I'm saying?
Totally.
Everything would just be spoken word. So
We do need producers.
absolutely, and we need to pay them appropriately. You know what I'm saying?
Facts.
So yeah.
Big facts. I would love to talk a little bit about your last project
Okay.
because I loved it so much.
Yes.
I Digress. Incredible project, and I'll never forget the first time I listened to it. I was in Italy, and I was on this like teeny tiny plane going to some like city in Italy, and you had sent me the project on Untitled. I downloaded it, I listened, and I remember listening on this plane just being like, this is the craziest shit I've ever heard in my life. I love every song on that project.
Thank you.
Every single one.
Oh my goodness. Thank you.
Tell me about like where you were at in your life when you were making that project, and also how has your relationship to that project like changed over time?
Okay, so when I created that project, I had just moved back home from Harlem shortly after. And I was in a pretty rough transitional phase in my life. I feel like there were a lot of changes, things happening that were out of my control. I went through some health issues. Shortly after I moved home, I had a pulmonary embolism. So that's a blood clot in my lung. And I almost died.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was something that was really hard to deal with, and I was nervous on where life would take me after that, if I would be able to like be myself pre incident. And I was just like really sad. Like I felt like my career had been a little stagnant, and I just wasn't like sure the next steps to take in my life. And when I reached those when I'm in the throes of that kind of like sadness and depression, I turn to music in those times. And I Digress was just like a manifestation of everything I was feeling at the time. It started off with Digress. I remember I had gotten strep throat and COVID at the same time.
Oh my God.
And I was so sick that day, and I was just like, I was through mentally. And I was just like, oh my God, how much worse can it get? So I just wrote that song, and like I sang through the sore throat. Like I think in the beginning of the song, I actually tell people before I start singing, like, I have a sore throat, by the way, like just so you know. And I didn't think anything of it at the time. I just made the song because it was just something to do,
Yeah.
And then all the songs that followed just came naturally. Me and my manager, Marvel, Big Gator Boss Man, shout out to Marvel.
Big shout out.
We worked on those songs together. And I just dropped a few loosies. I dropped I believe it was Digress. I dropped Sinner, and Psilocybin. And people loved it. I wasn't expecting the feedback and the reaction that I got. It ended up getting featured, like the project got featured on like I think the Fader and Pitchfork and all these publications, and I was just like, whoa, like, this is a song I made in my bed.
Yeah.
Sick as fuck. Like, Jesus Christ. But, like, so many people come up to me and, like, tell me that the music resonated with them and places, and, like, in ways that, like, I didn't even think people were really listening, you know?
Yeah.
So that was really surreal to experience. And, like, we finished the project and put it out right before I ended up going on tour with Sage. And just being able to travel and perform that music live and have people come up to me after the show and be like, wow, like, you touched me. I remember I was in London and there were people coming up to me like, I remember when you were the Aphrodite. And I was just like, you know who I am? What the fuck? You perceive me? Like, that is crazy.
Yeah.
And it's like, wow, like, that was just so, like, I'm so grateful to Navy Blue for allowing that, to me, to have that opportunity to, like, really share my art with the world, you know? It was just crazy. Like, even in London that night, I met Tyler, the Creator, on my birthday. Like, it was like,
wow,
it was turning midnight in London, and, like, I shook his hand and, like, I went up to him and I was like, you know, I just wanted to, like, tell you that I love you and your art. And I gave him a sticker and, like, we were talking for a little bit and he was like, yeah, I really liked your set. And I was like, really? And I remember he, like, stopped and he looked at me. He was like, yes. And I was like, you know, yeah, he wouldn't have said he liked it if, you know, he didn't.
Yeah.
So that was just really, really fucking cool. And that's probably one of my favorite memories. It's my first ever tour and I got to go international and, like, you know, so shout out to Navy Blue for that. I will always love Sage for that. And I am so humbled by the reception I got just off of Digress and everything that followed after it that brought me here.
Yeah, absolutely. That was beautiful. I remember you, like, announcing that tour and just kind of following you along the way. And it just seemed like that was a really cool opportunity.
Yeah, it was amazing. I mean, me, Navy Blue, Zero, I think Ali was DJing for Sage, and Marvel was my DJ, and it was just such a great experience. Like, I learned so much, and I took so much with me, you know, for the future. I feel like I grew so much as an artist being able to do that, you know?
Yeah,
so.
Definitely. Well, really proud of you for that. And again, that if you haven't listened to I Digress, like, really, really, really couldn't recommend it enough. Such a great project. And now we're getting into kind of this new era, and we have a couple songs out right now. We have Nana Boo Boo out. We have IKEA out with Saba, which has been going fucking, like, oh my God, that song is going crazy.
Yes, I think it has like 100, a few over 100. I haven't checked it in a few days, but it was at 105,000 streams the last time I looked. And that is probably, like, my highest stream song ever.
Yeah.
Definitely my highest stream song ever. Saba, thank you so much to Saba for that. Like, I mean, I love Saba. He's an amazing human being. I've known him. It's crazy. We were actually talking about this when, like, the day we made IKEA. I believe his friend was, like, asking, like, how we knew each other. And we kind of looked at each other like, I don't know. Like, we were, like, online mutuals for a long time. I believe Squeak, rest in peace to Squeak Pivot, was the first person to reach out to me and tell me that he liked my music. When I was the Aphrodite, I had a song called Blue Light that went pretty crazy on, like, Solection. And it has, like, I think, like, 75,000 streams on SoundCloud, but I believe that's the song that Squeak heard. And ever since then, I had been, like, you know, cool with Squeak online. And then I you know, deep dove into Pivot Gang and the music, and I really fell in love with Saba and Comfort Zone. And yeah, ever since then, we've really just been tapped in with each other, and I met him in person. It's so funny, when we met, I think he was doing a show in New York, and I brought him to the Push show. Shout out to Tati and Salenta. I believe that was, I forgot what year that was, maybe 2018. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But he came out and he met up with me at Secret Project Robot, and that was probably one of the last times I also saw Ross G perform. Rest in peace to Ross G. I believe Liv was also performing. And there were so many cool acts on the lineup, and I had just let him come to just see, you know, the underground and, like, the culture around here, and it was, like, really cool just meeting him in person. And then we, you know, just would bump into each other here and there. And then I believe I saw him in Chicago when I did No Name's block party with Sage. And we were talking, it was like, you know, we haven't made music yet, like, we should do that, like, the next time we see each other. And we ended up seeing each other, like, a couple weeks later at Afropunk. And literally the night of Afropunk, he was like, I'm going to the studio after this. You want to pull up? And I pulled up, and we made IKEA.
And there we go. Beautiful origin story.
Right?
Right? Tell me a little bit about the songs on the project, what kind of sounds you're exploring, and also tell me about any like exciting collaborations we can look forward to.
So this project, New Moon, which is slated to drop August 22nd. By the time this interview is out, it will be out already. But wow. What inspired this music? I mean, I draw inspiration from my life, more specifically my love life. And I was in a weird space with writer's block for a while. So I was in a relationship that I wasn't happy in. I was living in an apartment that I wasn't happy in. I was living in New Jersey for a year. And this project had been in the works for a really long time. Like when I was living in Harlem, I was working on it.
Yeah.
And I ended up scrapping a lot of those songs. There were a lot of self-produced songs, which I still think, I love and believe strongly in, but they just weren't really the direction that I was trying to take it.
Yeah.
And I just knew I could do better. So I put production to the side for a little bit, and I just tapped in with my community. I reached out to Ryan. I got some beats from Captain Pigment. 2 and 2, Captain Pigment, Kaylin Ellis. There's some other names that I don't want to mention yet because I want to surprise y'all. But there's so many people that I built this community with, and I just wanted to cherry pick the things that spoke to me.
Yeah.
And New Moon is just like an open diary of like where I am currently in life. I explore a lot of themes like, love and trying to figure out what is love and what is limerence. Being in deep like with somebody and how that affects my mental state. And recognizing my self-worth and how I want to be perceived and how I want to be loved. And it's like my first concept album as well. I really love anime. For people that may not know this, I am a weeb. I've seen like over 200 something titles. So the idea behind the album is that I'm like having a girls' night with my friends, and we're just like talking about life. And we decide to watch an anime on TV, and the anime is called New Moon. And as we watch the anime, as you go through the album, you find that the show mirrors my love life.
Right.
That's the intent. So it's my first concept album, and I really, really put a lot of work into it. We actually got Japanese voice actors to
Sick.
do the voice acting to portray the characters in the show. And that was really fun. Just writing like a script and coming up with a show concept and designing characters. But the characters are designed mostly after people that I know in real life.
Right.
So it was a really fun process. Me and Marvel, again, put a lot of work into it. And that's our baby. And I'm so proud of it. And I don't even know how to describe the sound. It's so experimental. I've done things. I tried things I've never done before. I don't want to spoil it, but it's
Fair.
just, I love it. I love it so much, and I really cannot wait to see how people receive it. And I have to thank people like Saba, people like Marco Plus,
Go.
like Pink Sifu. I mean, I'm not spoiling it because it's going to be out by the time you watch this. But
Yeah.
I guess Bad Bad Not Good's on there.
Huge.
Yeah, that was mind-blowing. Quelle, Chris, and Cavalier are on there. And it's so cool to, like, be able to have an album that is built off of my connections I've made with people over the years. And when I say connections, I don't mean just like, oh, yeah, let's network. These are people that I have real bonds with,
Right.
mostly. And even if not, like, there's a relationship being formed just off the strength of this music, which is why I love music. Like, you connect to people on ways that you previously would not have. Like, and I'm just so grateful to be in a position where I have access to such amazing artists and an amazing community, and I feel so blessed. And yeah, I just can't wait for people to hear it because it's really good. I explore so much. I have so much fun making this, and even when it wasn't fun, honestly, some of the music, I always tell people like I'm actually a little embarrassed to drop this because I talk about so much stuff. It's so personal. It's so vulnerable. You know,
Right.
And you know, just like sharing that part of me is scary, but it's authentic. It's who I am. It's real. It's raw, and I can't be anything else.
Right.
So.
The realist of the real. I'm curious if there was any song in particular that either from like a lyrical standpoint when it comes to sharing stuff that's personal or from a technical standpoint of just like putting the song together, which song on the project for you was the most challenging to make?
Oh God, Seagulls. Seagulls with Marco Plus and Bad Bad Not Good. That song went through so many changes. Oh, also DaP DA-P also contributed production to that song. Like originally it was his beat that we had used, and it was a lot simpler, you know. Me and Marco got on it initially, and we were like, oh, this needs something else, you know, but we didn't know what. And Marvel had the great idea to hit up his friends, Bad Bad Not Good, to like add some instrumentation. But like the earlier iterations of the song, I had gotten so married to the demo. Marvel says that this is a problem of mine. I get married to the demo so quickly.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, it's so hard for me to like accept change.
Yeah.
So we had to go through, I want to say we went through like 4 versions of the song before
Damn.
I was happy with it.
Yeah.
And it was like, I was fighting him on it. He's like, you gotta trust me. You have to trust me. You have to put your trust in me. And yeah, we worked on it until it became something that I loved. And I'm so grateful that Bad Bad Not Good was able to contribute in the way they did, because the song sounds completely different from where we started, but I love it now, you know, and I can't picture it sounding like anything else.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I'm
Thank
so
you.
excited for the world to hear this.
Yes, I'm so excited too. Like, I'm just like, I'm so nervous, but I'm so happy because I haven't put out music since Digress. I did put out the deluxe, like the anniversary edition.
Right.
But I feel like that was, and I don't ever want to like minimize I Digress, but I do feel like it's something that I put together, and the goal was to have something together before I went on tour.
Right.
You know? This, I really, really took my time with. Like, there's vocals on there. Like, Pink Sifu's vocals were on a completely different song. I believe it was a Contour beat initially, and back in, like, 2018, 29, one of those years. But, like, I just couldn't write to the beat for the life of me. And when I started producing, I stripped his vocals from the beat, and I built the beat that you hear now around it. And that was my first time ever doing something like that. Honestly, I haven't done it again. So that was like a one time, like, just like, I have to do something with this. Because every time I would see Pink Sifu, he would literally be like, so when's our song dropping? What are you doing with our song? And I'm just like,
it's coming. Don't worry about
it. And that happened like for years consecutively. So I'm like, all right, I need to put this, people need to hear this song because it's such a good song. So yeah, just like things like that. Like, this has just been in the making for such a long time, and I'm so happy to finally be able to see it come to fruition. Like, this is I've been working on this album longer than I've been working on I Digress.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be a major moment. I'm just so excited to see the world's reaction to it, and I just feel like you are destined for the most beautiful, great things. And you've already been doing beautiful, great things, but just I'm really excited to see you continue to grow.
Thank you so much.
And I'm so excited to see like where this album takes you.
I am too. I mean, I was just talking to Marvel the other day, and like, he was like, I know you have dreams for yourself, and I know you have huge like goals that you want to accomplish, but I just see so much for you. Like, I see bigger than what you can possibly imagine, you know? And I'm so excited to like be in a place now where I feel confident in my artistry. I feel secure in myself. Even though I may have like moments of self-doubt, and that's something I've struggled with for a long time, you know, having imposter syndrome and wondering if I'm really like qualified, if I'm really like suited for this, if this is really what I'm meant to do. But I've reached a point where I don't see myself doing anything else. Like, this is it.
Yeah, when you feel that call, like from within yourself, and you feel that kind of like poke from the universe. I just had a lunch before this, and me and this girl were talking about how when you're doing something that's aligned with your purpose, sometimes you feel just like a poke from the universe where they're like, this is it, go in this direction, and you got to follow that. And when you follow that, it leads you exactly where you need to be. And I think it's so clear anyone who experiences you that this is like what you're meant to do.
Yeah.
And on top of you being extremely like talented, you're also a kind person, which is going to, you know, just like triple the blessings that are coming your way. Kind of the last thing I want to get into is just like what you've been listening to lately, the music that's inspiring you, that's exciting you. Like, what are you listening to?
So, I actually have a tendency to listen to a lot of the same things over and over. It's a bad habit of mine I've been trying to get out of, but the stuff I listen to is just so good. I love Brazilian jazz. I can't tell the names off the top of my head. I would have to go into my phone and I wouldn't even be able to pronounce them.
Brazilian jazz.
I listen to a lot of Brazilian jazz. And I'll probably send you some titles to reference later. But
Yeah.
I've also, honestly, like I said, I grew up in a very religious background, and I do have some religious trauma, but as an adult, I've really been getting back into gospel music.
Yeah.
I think it brings me a very deep sense of nostalgia and comfort. And just like, you know, just positivity, to get something to get you through the day, especially the world is in such a terrible place right now, you know? And sometimes it feels a bit weird following this path, knowing that like there's so much bigger things out there happening.
Yeah.
But yeah, gospel music kind of just reinforces like, you know, somebody's smiling down on you and somebody's, you know, giving you that push, like you said, like a little push from the universe to like remind you that you're on the right path. But also it's been really fun to look at gospel from like just a technical standpoint. Like these people be singing.
Oh my fucking God.
Oh my God. The Clark sisters? Are you, what? Take some time out of your day to listen to the Clark sisters. They are some amazing, amazing, amazing singers. I mean, Karen Clark Sheard, Dorinda Clark Cole. I mean, those are my two favorite Clark sisters. I have just been listening to Balm in Gilead by Karen Clark Sheard. I've also been listening to Jesus is a Love Song. And I never thought I would be the person to be like, I'm listening to gospel music. You should listen to these songs. But like just amazing. Like I'm Still Here by Dorinda Clark Cole. And I just, Hezekiah Walker, Kirk Franklin's always great. I just been like really, really, really enjoying like the musicality of gospel music.
100%.
So yeah, that's amazing. It gets me through my day. It keeps me feeling calm and centered. It keeps me feeling positive. And I'm not even a religious person, so it kind of feels crazy to say. Maybe it's because I'm older now. I'm like 30. So it's just like
Well, I think also like because I was raised Catholic, I went to Catholic school, and then after Catholic school I was like, need to distance myself from this, a lot of unhealthy things, but I still find myself as I'm getting older as well, as I'm facing more difficult things in life, because as you get older life just gets more complicated, more difficult, and you know, I do find comfort in sometimes like also listening to maybe some gospel music, or like finding some like Bible verses that I find to be really inspiring. And I think when you can kind of like look at it through a lens of like, I don't have to be like super dedicated to this religion, but I can still resonate with these messages of like perseverance, of love. And so yeah, everyone should go listen to some gospel music today.
Yeah, just at least one song. Just get your mind right. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, oh my gosh, Kelly, this has just been the most lovely conversation.
Yes, it has. I had so much fun. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. I feel like I could talk to you for hours.
Me too. And it's such a beautiful day. The breeze is breezing. You know, everything just feels good. It's a good day.
It's a great day. And again, just excited for everything you have coming up, excited for the album, and excited to just watch you continue to blossom and like take over the world with your beautiful art. Is there anything else you would like the people to know about Kelly Moonstone?
I don't know, man. I'm just a chill girl that loves to make music. I don't know. So I don't know. Just practice kindness, be good to your people, and keep your friends close. You know, and just be you. Be you. It's the most important thing.
Absolutely.
So.
Yeah. Cool. Thank you, Kelly.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Yay.